I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes, to a riveting Disney playlist episode of The Lion King.
Oh, we moe.
I am the Green Traveler from Gorge.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Welcome to Green and Faceless on the Couch. This is a podcast about movies and TV. And we're talking about the Pride.
And
the
it's Pride of Hamlet.
And the Pride of Hamlet and the Pride of Disney. Really, I do think that since they've made this movie, they have milked quite a bit out of it. I mean, it was like one of the first really big Disney Broadway shows and all sorts of stuff.
I mean, it was the biggest budgeted animation for a long time until Finding Nemo came along.
Yeah.
So for like 8 years, this movie was like the biggest budgeted animated film.
Yeah.
Taking the throne from Aladdin or whatever it was before it.
I see.
That we talked about. Yeah.
Was
crazy, man.
Aladdin last week?
Honestly.
I think so.
What was that?
I think it was Aladdin last week, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it only rained for like 2 years, and then along came Lion King. And, honestly...
worth it.
This is the big one. What was that?
Worth it.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I don't know. This is the one, like, everybody knows this movie, everybody's talked or at least seen this movie. And it's not one of my favorites. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna shit on this movie. Don't think the next 20 minutes are gonna be me crapping all over this film, because it's not. I've just seen this movie so many times that it's like other Disney films touch bigger nerves than this one does. This one is a fine film that I watch every few years, and I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's
got good music. So
the other ones the other good ones, anyways, seem to have some kind of overall message or moral behind it, where this one is more just a family drama.
It's got a decent message, don't let certain things consume you, like guilt and all that kind of stuff.
That's true. Yeah. It does have some messages, but I feel like the idea of don't be greedy, don't take advantage of your friends is much more prevalent in like Aladdin, whereas being kind and generous is definitely the message of Beauty and the Beast.
Right. I do like the boldness of this script too, because like where other Disney films, when they're adaptations of stories, like they're pretty much almost direct, like not entirely direct, but like they basically stick to everything pretty well. This one took like Hamlet and put it into a Pride lands, and like worked itself around that idea, and it's like they changed a lot and they worked with it really cool, like in many cool ways. I mean, there's other stories that they're inspired from too. I only know Hamlet. I can't remember what else they take inspiration from, but it's really bold, and I like that. Like
Pride lands being the home and area controlled by a family of lions. And I'm not sure if that is just in the world of this movie or actual zoological vernacular. But it's pretty cool how they set it up. That's like the kingdom in this. And Mufasa at the beginning is king. And he, like, all of the people in the animal kingdom that are in the Pride lands, they look to him as the ruler. And they're aware of the circle of life. They're aware that he's going to eat them if he gets the chance. But they also
it's the truth.
They also know that he's going to keep the predators from overtaking. And
predators that are not him.
Him. He's not going to overtake, though, either. Mufasa was a good king.
He was, indeed. Yeah. And he had that beautiful, intimidating voice of James Earl Jones.
Yes, he sure did. I should probably pull up the cast list. There are so many stars in this.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But in front of, I say in front of, but voice acting wise, they're stars, and then also behind the cameras, they're stars, because like, I don't know if I would have known this until like 10 years ago, but you know, we discovered Hans Zimmer through like, you know, Inception and like all these other big blockbusters with like his big, you know, blam, and how he changed like the music industry of films. Well, Lion King was one of like, not his first films, but like it was one of his bigger films in our childhood that I never knew he was a part of.
And he got to do work with the Elton of the John.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy, man. That's another thing, is like they started working with like all these big I don't know if this was the first film that happened, but like, you know, when they get the Tarzan and they're working with Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, this is like one of the bigger names where they just bring in these like
it's
crazy
strange
people.
because Tarzan was always strange to me, and we'll talk about it more when we get there. But
yeah,
it's like feels like it's the first one that's not a musical. No, none of the characters actually sing except for the primates. The gorillas and the elephant do sing in that. Okay, we're moving on. I'm just trying to see what exactly Elton John's credit was for this film. Songs, music by. So, he's not a lyricist, so he must have just done like the melodies and stuff, and maybe the score work was Hans.
I did find it. Yeah, it's here it is. It's on Wikipedia. Its original songs were written by Elton John and Tim Rice.
Yeah.
With a score by Hans. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The score is great too. I mean, it's very very dramatic. But obviously those songs are what stick with you, because they're very sing along songs. Obviously Elton John's very good at that.
I mean, honestly, like, if I were to get real before we dive into the synopsis here, I had a panic attack when I watched this movie. I had a panic attack before watching this movie, and to try to calm down, I was like, okay, I know I need to watch Lion King, so I put Lion King on, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't focus on it, so I called my mom and muted Lion King while still watching the movie. And while talking to my mom, literally every single song that came on, I was just like, I knew it in my head. So I was like talking to mom and just being like singing The Circle of Life. You know, I'm just like, I just know these songs that are just, they're fucking iconic. They just, they stick with you.
They sure do. Anyhow, let's jump into this synopsis. As we said,
let's do it.
Mufasa is king. And for the most part, I really appreciate the casting. In the department of like, hey, let's get some black representation in here in this movie that's based in Africa. Our hero is voiced by Matthew Broderick when he grows up.
Yeah.
Simba.
And Jonathan Taylor Thomas when he's young.
Oh, that's right. Shit. Anyway, Jonathan Taylor Thomas is James Earl Jones's son. And he's a rambunctious cub and has a friend named Nala, and young Nala is played by Nikita Kalame Harris, and she and him, they get into a lot of trouble. For one, they go to an elephant graveyard that the territory belongs to our three villainous characters, like lackey characters, the hyenas, and Jim Cummings does Ed, and Whoopi Goldberg does Shinzi, and they have another one named Gonzo, but he doesn't really talk. He's probably done by Frank Welker.
What? No. Cheech Marin does Bonsai.
Oh, Cheech Marin does Bonsai, but he doesn't say words.
No, Bonsai is the one that I think Ed is the one that doesn't
Ed
talk.
Ed is the one who doesn't talk. You're so right. So yeah, okay. I was gonna say it doesn't sound like Jim Cummings, but apparently Jim Cummings did some work for Scar as well. But Jeremy Irons is Scar for sure.
Yeah. Jim Cummings sang for Scar.
Oh, okay.
For certain lines of "Be prepared," it says here. So that's interesting.
I have to listen to that and see if I can spot the differences.
Yeah, I wonder.
Or maybe he just added, it was voiced over Jeremy Irons.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe they needed
to amplify it.
Fix up some lines. Or, amplify, maybe.
Yeah, because Jim Cummings, as we know, can have that deep, gravelly voice. And maybe they thought that'd be fun during the scarier moments and Be Prepared. Be Prepared actually gave me nightmares.
I honestly think the same. Like, there's some really creepy moments in that. It's really well animated.
It's a really good song, too. Underrated compared to the other songs, because obviously there's some bops in here. Yeah. So, as we said, Mufasa rules the Pride Lands, but we do start off, I believe, after the ceremony of Simba's birth, meeting Jeremy Irons as Scar, being Mufasa's brother, who was the heir to the throne before Simba was born. Thus,
he's got a sexy purr for a voice. It's very. Sure. Oh yeah, it's very. Ooh, it gets
Jeremy
under your skin.
Irons.
It's really
we are definitely objectifying your voice right now.
Oh yeah,
100%.
As it should be. It's a sexy voice.
So
sexy voice for a sexy man.
He starts devising ways to get the throne at this point, and that is really the the crux of the plot here. He finds a way to cause a stampede in which he kills Mufasa. I'm just gonna put
it's crazy, there. Man.
It's pretty crazy.
It's one of the craziest scenes of my childhood.
No! Just yelling at the TV.
Isn't that also the one where, because there's a lot of hidden memes or whatever in the animation.
So people say there's sex.
People say there's
or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think I remember as a kid seeing three dust letters that looked like an S and an X, but you're kind of making a stretch to make it happen.
Yeah.
But as a kid, we were just like, oh my god, it's like ha ha ha, they've had sex in there. But I guess it's also in the stars. Like I think you can outline the stars to say sex too or something. Like it's ridiculous.
It's gotta be bullshit. I think for those two, anyways.
I don't know. It might be bullshit, but at the same time, you have to think of the animators are working on all these individual
you get bored.
Frames and everything. Like you get bored. Sometimes you just want to add some funny things that
and
only
maybe
you are going to know about.
They're thinking about sex, and it's subconscious. It just makes stars in the shape of sex.
Yeah, they're looking at Nala, adult Nala that is, and they're just like,
So adult Nala, since we brought it up, is Moira Kelly, who plays them.
Thank you, yeah.
Anyhow, Scar kills Mufasa and then convinces young Simba that it was all his fault. And so Simba runs away. And Scar also thinks that the hyenas that are his mercenaries basically kill him. But he does make it across the Sahara, I guess.
I never really understood. He just goes walking, man.
Yeah.
He just goes on a long trek.
He sure does. And I don't know if where Timon and Pumbaa are is an oasis or if it's jungle that's near-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure. But it's very much more jungle-esque than the savannah that Simba is from.
They got a river. They got a tree over the river they can walk across many times.
Very, very
waterfalls,
mossy, viney. Yeah, they have fun.
Beautiful insects. Lots of bugs to eat.
They sing another song that I knew every single word of, being Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
So they save Simba because he's going to die in the desert. That. And then they help him be more carefree because obviously they brainwash him. I know that's not what you said. But basically, they brainwash him.
Like, what is parenting if not brainwashing your children? I read an article too where it's like somebody was mad because not to get political here, but I am of the opinion that your kids should be able to make their own choices and that you should just encourage their choices. That's how my parents raised me. They were pretty hands off. They tried to push us in certain directions, but for the most part, they were just like, your life is your own and we're going to accept you no matter what. I love them for that. They're amazing people. Mm-hmm. But I read an article where a Karen was complaining. Sorry to Karens out there. An angered individual was complaining about somebody saying that she shouldn't be indoctrinating her kids into politics or in religion or any other of these things because, and her argument is, she suffered 9 months of carrying and then had to spend years raising them while working. She deserves to implant her opinions upon her children.
That's a very selfish way to look at it. Okay, I feel like religion, to a certain point, is acceptable because it's cultural. It's also, it depends, it really depends how hard you push it. Like,
right.
I think, like, as children, it's nice to have that sense of community. At least I did as a child. Too. And structure, yeah. And, you know, as they become an adult, you know, they should be able to choose if that's the life they want to continue leading.
Right.
You know,
and that's precisely what my parents did.
That there wasn't disappointment when I decided that I was not going to go to church anymore. But my dad was like, you know, I was the same way when I was your age. So you have to live your life.
Yeah, my parents, when I told them that I was okay with not going to youth church anymore, I think their feelings on the matter was, oh, thank God we don't have to make that 30-minute drive every morning. We live far out from the church.
That's crazy. Yeah, you know, our church was like 15 minutes away, but we lived behind one.
That wasn't good enough.
Fort Wayne, though, you know, some of the citizens there call it the city of churches. I'm sure that there are other cities who have that name, but literally, no joke, there is like a church on every other corner. There's crazy, a lot of churches in Fort Wayne.
That's crazy. But yeah, Timon and Pumbaa, though, they raised Simba, and I think they raised them right. They were just like, be carefree.
Yeah.
You know, just live your life, be happy.
That's right.
You know, Hakuna Matata.
They did the best they could.
Wonderful phrase.
They did the best they could. And by the way, Timon is Nathan Lane, and Pumbaa is Ernie Sabella.
Love him too.
Yeah,
Nathan Lane was just beautiful. Like love it. I love his voice and everything he's ever voiced. Every movie he's ever been in, he's great.
Timon is definitely a special someone. Timon is like the brains of the operation for this couple. But he also gets things wrong. Yeah, and it's
he's
really
very
fun.
Self-assured.
Yes, he is.
He's like, I know I'm right.
Yeah. And when I speak about them brainwashing Simba, they made him think that it was okay to eat bugs. Well,
it's true. It was okay.
They
literally made their best friend the one thing that would eat them. They did a good job.
They did a good job. Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, it's brainwashing. They went against his natural way of being. Man. Made him eat bugs, and he liked it. Actually, you know, if we all ate bugs, the world would be a better place.
It probably would. I agree with that. True. I keep telling people, you need to get used to this. Just start eating bugs now. That way, when the switch happens, you're not that freaking put off by it.
Yeah, it's just chocolate covered crickets, guys. Come on.
Yeah. And then if you just take a crap ton of crickets and mash them up, you can make a paste that's not like hamburger meat, but like, you know, it's all right. It's a little crunchier, but it's fine.
Honestly, kind of sounds good, and I just had pizza.
I would eat it.
This movie almost made bugs appetizing. Almost.
It's true. I almost kind of want the cicadas to come back so I could try the cicada tacos that I talked myself out of.
You know what? I guess when that happened this year, there was definitely some food trucks that were serving cicada tacos.
Oh, yeah. And I thought about it. I thought about it hard, but I talked myself out of each and every one of them.
Only every 17 years. Maybe next time I'll be more adventurous.
That was my thing. That was my thing, I was just like, I know there's going to be some weirdo out there who's going to collect these and freeze them, and he can always have cicada tacos whenever he wants. But like me, this is probably going to be my only opportunity in 17 years to experience this disgusting thing. And I want to know what it's like. But I didn't do it.
By the way.
So now I got to live 17 more years so I can try it when I'm like, 47, 46, however old I'll be.
By the way, I did find Frank Welker on the cast list.
Oh my god, who did he do?
he plays lion roars, hyenas, and wildebeest.
I love that man.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Frank, if you ever listen to this, please come on our show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. You're amazing, man. Like any voice actor out there that we've talked about and loved, please. Come teach us your ways.
Or other actors too. It's not.
Or anybody we've been nice to, and anybody we haven't been nice to. Yeah. Come on and fight us. It'll be fun.
That's right. Oh man, what if we got Nick
30 Cage? Minutes of punching sounds.
What? I'm sorry. But yeah, man, what if Nick Cage listens and came on the show?
Dude. That'd be awesome.
That would be something.
He would probably... He doesn't even go to talk shows, so I highly doubt that.
My brain would explode.
I know, right? That'd be hilarious.
It wouldn't happen.
But
never in a million years.
To bring it back around, Timon and Pumbaa, they raise Simba so well that when Nala comes along, Simba is completely thrown for a loop.
He's these lions exist. I'm a lion.
My goodness. I'm in love. And they go down the river. They have a beautiful moment and everything. It's really cute. But then she reminds him that shit's going down back home. Well, she doesn't remind him. She tells him because he didn't fucking know shit was going down back home. But Scar has taken over the Pride Lands. Because he's the rightful heir now. And it's lost all of its color. Or so he thinks, yeah. But it's lost all of its color. It's gray. It's dead. Like there's no plant life. Plant life is pretty much dying off and everything. Like the creatures are fleeing because they're all getting eaten now. And then the hyenas have taken over as well because Scar's in charge. So his army of hyenas are going to be there to enforce his command. And Simba has to look deep into himself.
He has to decide. Yeah. That's the real moment of the movie is him finding himself, deciding if he wants to try to restore the Pride Land or if he is content in his life. Which there are signs that he's not exactly content before Nala shows up, and then obviously he falls in love with his childhood.
Well, I mean, hell, he's taken fucking hallucinogenics and seeing his father in the sky. Of course he's not content. He's a drug addict.
Speaking of hallucinogenics, there's a baboon who is the spiritual leader of the Pride. His name is Rafiki, and he's played by Robert Guillaume.
Guillaume?
I think it's Guillaume. I could be wrong. Guillaume. It might be Guillaume. I'm not sure. I love it though.
He's known for his Tony. He was nominated for a Tony Award for his portrayal of Nathan Detroit in Guys and Dolls, and I love that musical. So
that's fun. Well, Rafiki is pretty great. I do wonder if anybody's upset about representation with him. There's just a twinge of that because he is definitely based off of African culture and spiritual icons and stuff, and then you got to ask about that classical slur of calling people primates and stuff and equating them to that. So I wonder if people are upset about this in any way. And, you know, we haven't done this for a while. Call to the comments. Let us know how what you think. I would love to know. Because I love Rafiki personally, but is he misrepresentation? That's what I want to know. Because maybe I'm not supposed to.
He's certainly he's a fun character.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. It might feel... This one didn't have a cultural thing.
Yeah, it did not.
Did it?
It did not.
Okay.
And I do think that it's because Disney feels that they really put a lot of research into this one, and they did, to be fair.
That's true, yeah. I was going to say, I just watched Pocahontas, and it, too, did not have a placard in front of it. I don't think it did. I might have blinked through it. It's very possible.
We'll come back to that.
You'll have to let me know. Next week when we talk Pocahontas. But I was surprised because I remembered, like, I was waiting for one, and then the movie started, and I was like, But at the same time, it's very possible that I was not paying attention appropriately. My dog was trying to distract me as she's doing right now.
So I think there is definitely more to talk about with this movie, but...
Rowan Atkinson as Zazu.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Mr. Bean is Zazu. He is definitely not Mr. Bean in this.
Oh, my God.
He's the intellectual Rowan Atkinson.
Literally, I didn't even know it was Rowan Atkinson until when I watched it this time around. He
is funny, though. Like, some of Zazu's lines are really... Like, as a kid, you're like, oh, fucking Zazu.
I love when Timon is running into the cage. He's like, let me in. And Zazu's like, let me out. That was one of my favorite parts as a kid.
Yeah, it's great. He has some, like, oh man, just some of the lines in I Just Can't Wait to Be King that Zazu has. Just had me rolling as an adult watching this. Like, we have the subtitles on, and there is so much that you miss just listening to it. I know we've talked about that before on the show.
Yeah.
But it is, some of the animal puns and stuff are just really good. Like with, because they mix in, you know, our lives into it and make it an animal thing. And it's just really funny.
I love it, man. Good shit. Good shit all around.
I do want to talk a little bit more about comparing it to Hamlet because I'm a theater nerd.
Please do.
In Hamlet, if you're not aware, Hamlet's uncle becomes king while he's away. And there is a ghost moment as there is with Mufasa. It's like Hamlet, but out of order, and not everybody dies at the end. That's the real differences. So there is this ghost moment. So, like, you know, it basically has all the elements of Hamlet. That's what makes it Hamlet. Like, there's this ghost moment where the king Hamlet calls his son Hamlet to action, and he goes in and he finds out this plot that, you know, his uncle killed his father, and then he married his mother, and that does happen in this with I'm pretty sure but it might be that all the lionesses are his wife, but they do all the hunting too. But she is the lead lioness, and her name is Serafina. Sarabe. Who's Serafina then? Whatever. Sarabe is Madge
Nala's
Sinclair.
mother.
What? Nala's mother. Okay, that's Zoe Leader. But Sarabe is Madge Sinclair. And anyhow, I believe the mother's name is Claudia in the play, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, yeah.
And the uncle... Fuck. What's the uncle?
Bob's your uncle.
Claudius. So probably not Claudia. I think that's the G name, actually.
Hamlet's mother is Gertrude.
Gertrude.
Yeah.
See, I know a lot of approximate knowledge. So his mother, Claudia, married his uncle, Gertie, and they, so you find out that she is kind of in love with him. That's kind of another, like, weird point in Hamlet, is that she is kind of in love with this uncle guy until she finds out what happens.
Yeah. I mean, if you remember The Northman, which is based off the story that Hamlet's based off of, the mother colluded with the uncle to kill the father.
Yeah.
So it's like it all stems like you went from the original story where they colluded to kill the father together to she was in love with the uncle, but then she was like, "You did what?"
Yeah.
To Lion King, where she's like, "Fuck you, Scar, you fucking asshole." Like,
which doing? Is much more appropriate to our ideals of family and stuff. To be fair to Gertrude, she was in a place of power, and to protect that place of power, she married who was going to become king. Because I guess Hamlet was too young. I don't know.
Do we want to be fair to people of power? Is that what we're trying to do here?
No, I'm not trying to be fair to people in power. I'm trying to be fair to a woman in a patriarchal society.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
You've debated me into a corner, and I bow to your victory.
All right. Besides the fact that Timon and Pumbaa are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, I don't know what else to talk about Hamlet. I just was
true, though.
I guess.
I love it though. This is a fun film. It's not my favorite. I do think it's like mildly overrated, but only I mean that in that Disney has milked so fucking much out of it that it's like. It was good, guys, but you can calm down. You know, Timon and Pumbaa was a good TV show. You succeeded there.
It was like Broadway musical, but Disney.
Yeah. I loved it, man. That was like one of me and my brother's favorite shows. Like, I know we watched that all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I think we watched that up until Lilo and Stitch came out, and then we watched Lilo and Stitch. That might have been the course of things, but. It's all foggy. I don't remember what all was watched because every single show in my childhood was just one lump thing that was there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, Rocket Power. I did watch that.
I did watch that. Man, what a weird show.
I watched that for like 8 years. No, not really, but
I don't know.
Definitely.
Like you said, it's all one foggy lump.
It's all in foggy blog. I don't know why. Probably the government did something to me. It's
probably
joke, guys.
that. Yeah.
Remember?
NDA. I mean, no. So here we are, closing statements. I think for Lion King.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was working on. I'm sorry. I kept getting trailing away.
That's okay.
I think it's mildly overrated, but I think it's still good. It's still a very lovable, enjoyable film. Some good messages in there about, like overcoming your guilt, overcoming like being who you're supposed to be while at the same time being yourself, like presenting yourself in one way, but having a good time about it, being carefree. I like a lot of those little, like those smaller messages. The voice acting's good. But I don't give it the 4 stars I've given the last 2 films.
That's
I believe
fair.
I'm giving it 3.5. Mainly, probably hurt. This film is probably hurt by the fact that I've seen it like
a bazillion
15
times.
to 20 times. Yeah. And then they did the live action remake, which is just, it's not a live action remake, but that's what they called it.
It's a reanimated movie. It's a reanimated movie. That's what it is. Because it's the same movie. It's exactly the same.
It just didn't need to happen, man.
They just made it computer animated. We'll talk about that later.
And then they're just like, we're just going to dump all the fucking voice acting into the world into that one too, just like we did with the original. It's like, why are we remaking the exact same film?
I know.
What's happening?
I know. It's crazy. Well, as much as this movie was around in my childhood, and as much as I love Elton John, And as much as the songs will always be with me, and just the beautiful animation is absolutely beautiful. That can't be argued. They did a lot of study with animals to get it right, and it shows. It has all the elements to make it a Face and a Half movie, but it's I don't know. I feel like that third act kind of happens a bit fast. He goes from he has this like spiritual moment, and it changes, and he and just goes in. Now he's the hero. To me, it felt just a teensy bit lazy. Like, I think Hamlet makes more sense when he has that driving factor from his father at the beginning.
Right.
This one,
I mean, also the betrayal of the hyenas against Scar too is like just like the flip of a dime. They hear one line and they're just like, "Wait, you're an asshole? What? We never thought you were an asshole.
We never thought you were an asshole because you were feeding us and calling us bad names."
It's very quick.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, "You know what? Fuck you, dude." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. That happened real fast."
Well, I do love this movie though, and I will return to it, for the Disney movies, but it's just a full face movie, I think.
And if you like us shitting and hurting your childish hopes and dreams here, you can go down to patreon.com/greenandfaceless, sign up, check out our tiers, check out the merchandise per tiers, see what you want, get a shirt, join up there, do stuff.
Yeah.
We love you.
We love you too. And you might also get to listen to, you will if you give us $5 a month, to Bangers and Hash, which is a movie of, not a movie, it's a podcast about us talking about movies and TV that we have been watching by our lonesome. And anywho, hot take, Frozen is not the best Disney movie since Lion King. What? I know. I said
that's crazy, man.
Broke your mind.
Frozen 2 is.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's it though. I think we've done what we set out to do today. And with that, I'm the green traveler from Gorsh. And
I am the Faceless Leone. Safe travels and good night. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.